の光求めゆくあなたと私天地に広がるハーモニーさあ一つになって歌声は心をつなぐ明日への祈りをつなぐ一人を
This. Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. This thing is wonderful. I just have to make sure it's always charged up. That's all. Good morning. Mahalo nui for joining us today for our spring grand service for Tenchi Kane no Kami. We're very grateful that the Reverend Joanne Tolosa is here to give us a message in English. And Kenji, Konko sensei, I wish I had the funds. I wish I had the time, but unfortunately I don't. But he so graciously sent his ohanashi via video. We had such a fun time with that, let me tell you. The two of us like, how do we send it over? So please, I hope you'll take the time to listen with your hearts to each of them as we give thanks on this day. And hopefully in the process of reflection that all of you have been reflecting about the blessings, favors, and interventions, the silent love that Kami-sama gives us on a daily basis. I hope that you've all been reflecting so that you can have your utmost appreciation for Kami-sama on this day. So without any further ado, I'd like to begin today's Godaisai with a prayer of sincere pleas. Jido Haire, 4 sincere claps. Prayer of sincere Toritsugi, Prayer Book Supplement, page 1. I am a Konko Kyo believer. I believe in Ikigami Konko Daijin, Tenchi Kane no Kami. I have come today to practice my faith, appreciate and acknowledge the blessings, favors, and interventions of Tenchi Kane no Kami, honor the ancestors, and learn more about the faith of Konko Daijin. As I learn more about the heart of Tenchi Kane no Kami, I nurture the faith of my spiritual family. Thus, I boldly confess that my mind is alert, my heart is receptive, and it will never be the same as long as I practice the faith and receive Toritsugi. Kyami Konko Daijin sama, Tenchi Kane no Kami sama, thank you. Chido Haire, 4 sincere claps. Oh, sorry. Chido Haire, 4 sincere claps. Amatsunorito, page 2 of the prayer book supplement. Akaman no haran ni kamuzumarimasu. カムロギカムロミのみこともちて、すめみおやかむいざなぎのみこと、つくしのひゅうがんの立ちばなんの、おどんのあわぎはらにみそぎはらいたまうときに、あれませるはらいどのを神たちもろもろのまがごと罪けがれを払いたまい清めたまえと申すことのよしおは待つ神国つ神やをよろずの神たちともに雨のふちこまの耳振り立てて聞こしめせとかしこみも申す。With each wave, may each and every one of your diseases and discomforts, pain and suffering, and all impurities and negativities be dispelled to the great and vast universe. Allow each and every one of us to be in the purest state of mind, as we are favored, blessed, and protected by the great love, virtue, and energy of Tenchi Kane no Kami. Sorry. Okay, please bow your heads in prayer. しみて、ひがみ金光大臣の女へに間を咲く。今より、天地金の神五大祭。教皇老者、月妙に光道の高名の御霊の神三年運です。取り行わんとす。教祖金光大臣様、歴代金光様、現金光様をはじめ、金光教大阪教会、道広教会、玉溝屋教会、三霊語教会、安倍の教会、旧ラーズ教会、ワヒヤワ教会、各教会、初代教会長、歴代教会長、現教会長の恩と徳をすがり申し、今日の見祭使えん祭らんとす。これ使える、岩屋座、記憶、おごそかに、おろがみ祭る信奉者、もろもろ、おのもみを正し、心新たにだかしめたまえと、勘取り次コインネギ立て祭りて、かしこみもます。神金光大臣、I seek your Toritsugi for today's service. Today, we conduct the Tenchi Kane no Kami grand ceremony and the third appreciation memorial. As someone without virtue, I seek to receive and cling to the virtue of Kongo Daijin, the successive Kongo Samas, as well as the founding, past, and present head ministers of the Kongo churches of Osaka, Michihiro, Hamamizu, San Diego, Abeno, Razu, and Wahiawa for today's service. Today, the believers and I come together with our hearts, bodies, and minds, refreshed, purified, and ready for today's service. Thank you. Now, please raise your heads. Kensen Gyoji, the ritual of offerings. Can you play that utae? That utae. Please open your prayer books to page 3 for the Kami prayer. Reverently we pray. The brilliance of heaven, the richness of earth. Time flows without cease, years pass without end. In heaven and earth is a life that nurtures all. In heaven and earth is a truth that orders all. For this wondrous form, for these wondrous works, let us praise Tenchi Kane no Kami. Let us praise the divine parent of the universe. Kami loves and cares for all humanity, all those who live between heaven and earth. Revere Kami as divine parent in Kami's infinite blessings. This is the way. Yet many, not knowing the way, are lost in greed and selfishness. They suffer the cycle of misfortunes. Great is Kami's sorrow. Our founding father, Konko Daijin, suffered many trials in this world, but held fast to faith and sincerity. He received Kami's great blessing and began the life of mutual fulfillment of Kami and humanity. Humbly we pray. Divine Parent's great wish was thus fulfilled. Konko Daijin accepted the call to mediation that leads to the mutual benefit of Kami and humanity. By day, he taught the way of faith to all who sought him, summoning the blessings of heaven and earth. And he knew not the coming of night. By night, he prayed for those who grieved, seeking salvation for all who suffered. And he knew not the dawning of day. Though years passed and the world changed, he did not waver from his task, divine task of mediation. Thus was given the sacred Tenchi Kakitsuke, the guiding principle for our daily life. Divine favor was thus renewed, and blessings flowed universally, establishing the way of eternal prosperity, the way of mediation of Ikigami Konko Daijin. By this wondrous revelation, we are given knowledge of the way. Through all the hardships of this world, through pain of body and soul, the way of mediation teaches us to turn our hearts to Kami. Without regard for day or night, whether we are near or far, the way of mediation teaches us to pray with total trust. For living unaware of divine favor, we offer our sincere apologies and pledge to mend our ways. Let us live our faith every day, seeking and rejoicing in your divine favor. Let us care for those in pain and invite them to the way. Let us guide those who are lost and awaken them to a life of purpose. Kami is fulfilled in us. We are fulfilled in Kami. May this way of mutual fulfillment be manifested in this world. May Kami's wish for true peace and the well-being of all people be fulfilled. So we humbly pray. So we earnestly pray. Okay, please bow your heads in prayer. 剣幕も賢き、ひがみ金光大臣、天地金の親神様の御前に、金光教三年ご教会長、かしこみも間を割く、 賢かれど我が天地金の神橋。神未徳、天地にあまねく道渡らせたまい。物を生かし、老図のことを整えさせたまい。聞いても天地の間に住む人間を神の愛しごとめで慈しみ、たまいてあるは、人も賢きことの極みになん。Here at this purified site of the Congo Church of San Diego, your beloved children have gathered in one heart to express our love, sincerity, and appreciation to you for the blessings, favors, protections, and interventions we receive daily. On this auspicious day, we offer profound gratitude for the myriad of blessings and benevolences bestowed upon us, and for the very bedrock of our existence, the gentle rain that nourishes the earth, our body's intricate workings, the life-sustaining breath freely shared amongst us, tapestry of relationships woven into our lives, the boundless love and warmth of our cherished ohana and friends. These treasures and countless others often elude our notices as we navigate the currents of daily life, our appreciation obscured by the veil of routine. Yet in this sacred moment, we humbly acknowledge our oversight and extend our sincerest apologies for our neglect. To our universal parent, we offer our deepest gratitude for the unending stream of blessings that have sustained and enriched our journey. Mahalo piha. Thank you very much for sending Kami Konko Daijin. It is because of Konko Daijin's sincere and pure heart, he was allowed to encounter a once fearful deity that turned out to be a deity of love and benevolence. It is through this benevolence we find answers, solace, and love. Your desire for sending Yamikonko Daijin was clearly stated in the revelation received on October 10th, 1873. Quote, Tenchi Kane no Kami has sent Yamikonko Daijin to the people to bestow divine blessing, divine favors and teachings, as well as to have them prosper from generation to generation. Kami is because of humanity, and humanity is because of Kami. Both continue to uphold each other. End quote. However, you also relayed to us the pathway to living our lives, receiving okage, and helping us to see the world from a positive perspective. This pathway is known as the Tenchi Kakitsuke, or the universal reminder which was bestowed onto Ikami Konko Daijin on April 11th, 1873. It is with great humility that we thank you for bestowing the words Higami Konko Daijin, Tenchi Kano Kami, Shin ni negae, Kage wa waga kokoro ni ari, kongetsu konnichi de tanome. Through Ikami Konko Daijin, Tenchi Kano Kami, pray wholeheartedly, for you will find Kami's divine favor and blessings are in your heart of joy and harmony. On this very day, trust in me. Depend on me. 心から熱く御礼申し上げます。We pray for our spiritual patriarch, the Reverend Hiromichi Konko. We're very grateful for him and his family's sacrifice. Kami-sama, we ask that you care for Reverend Hiromichi Konko and his ohana. Allow his wife, the Reverend Nobuko Konko, time to rest and care for herself. And allow his children the opportunity to still be children. We pray for their health, happiness, and prosperity, along with that of Konko Kyo. We also offer prayers of appreciation to the late Dr. Katsumi and Mrs. Chiyoko Miyai, who paved the way and nurtured the hearts of many believers in and around the San Diego County area. We extend our gratitude to Reverend Norikazu Yukawa for establishing a Hiroma in San Diego, and to Madam Mitsuhiro Bando, who shared this faith with her students through her way of living, her words, actions, as well as Japanese dance. Lastly, we express our heartfelt thanks to Mr. Dick and Mrs. Kimio Spies, without whom we couldn't be gathered in the sanctuary known as the Konko Church of San Diego. We also offer prayers of appreciation for our parent church and head minister, Konko Church of Tamamizu, Reverend Masao Yukawa. In 1987, the Reverend Norikazu Yukawa's desire to spread this faith was brought to fruition with the Konko Church of San Diego's establishment. As dramatic, almost telenovela-like a history, your desire for church here continues to live on through the efforts of the Reverends Roderick Hashimoto, the late Reverend Alfred Tsuki, Reverend Ta Takahashi, the San Francisco Church ministers, Vivian Spies, and the Tashiro Ohana. We also offer prayers of appreciation for those ministers who have supported and continue to pray for not just the San Diego Church, but also the flame of faith that continues to burn ever so brightly here in San Diego County, San Bernardino County, and Mexico. Mahalo Anui for the Reverends Heiken Yaeko Konko, Kenji Konko, Kenshin Konko, Kyoji Konko, Toyo Saito, Masao Noboe Yukawa, Isao Yukawa, Koichi Yukawa, Robert and Nitsue Jewelry, Roderick Hashimoto, Koichi Seiko Konko, Kyoshin Wakiko Igawa, Kamie Imaoka, Mitsuo Ishimatsu, Edna Matsuoka, Kazuichi Nogata, Joanne Tolosa, Shuko Tsuda, Nobuharu Uzunoe, Michinori and Ikoeyagi, Rodney Yano, Yasuhiro and Reiko Yano, Mitsuko Yasutake, and Bishop Amy Uzunoe Chin. Please keep these individuals in good health so that they may be allowed to continue to do their sacred goyo. We offer our heartfelt appreciation for Reverend Roderick Hashimoto, whom you sent to assist as the second head minister. Thank you deeply for the abundant blessings, favors, grace, interventions, and protective care you have bestowed upon each of the Ujiko of the San Diego Church, North San Diego County Gathering, the Chula Vista Kosha, San Diego County, San Bernardino County, Estados Unidos Mexicanos, Japan, and the states of Arizona, Colorado, Hawaii, Nevada, Oklahoma, and Texas. We remain ever grateful for the continuous okage we receive, whether in our vocations, our well-being, or the greatest okage of all, the gift of life itself. We humbly acknowledge and wholeheartedly appreciate that without you, we would not stand here today. We offer prayers of apology for the seen and unseen, knowing and unknowing irreverences committed not just by us, the living, but also by our ancestors. We understand that our words and actions can cause pain and hurt, that irreverences or meguri accumulate. Please grant us the understanding of the irreverences we have made in the past. We ask that you receive our apologies as we learn to reflect upon ourselves. Please help us to clear away the meguri through taking responsibility and practicing our individual faiths. Grant us ability to utilize the lessons from our mistakes. Provide us with the strength to better ourselves and move forward. Cleanse our bodies and minds through Toritsugi, where we can receive your words and communicate with you about everything, including our concerns, angers, and pains in our hearts through the mediator. On behalf of all believers and the late Reverend Norikazu Yukawa, I apologize for the wrongs of a few in the past. I also apologize for the wrongdoings of a few whose actions caused the church to lose its home on Grayling Drive and its once future home in Solana Beach. It is our prayer that those individuals will redeem themselves through faith and toritsugi and learn to follow a more righteous path. 主大神のし、偉大の月縫い徳の中に生かされ、祭りつつ、両前の関東め、かしこみて使え祭らしめたまい、神根高大臣言取り次ぎの関比例を深くこうむり、これの広前を始めて、全教の広前の信金はさらなり、信奉者もろもろは、時代社会の移り変わり、激しき中に、家庭生活の上に、社会生活の上に、日に日に茂み立ち行き、大見かけこむり、二人あるは、形けなきことの極みになん。May the San Diego Church continue to nurture genuine believers who steadfastly acknowledge and appreciate your blessings and grace, who recognize and receive the divinity of this sacred space, receiving okage, toku, shintoku, and nintoku, along with abundance. Please guide us to remain a beacon of faith, spreading your teachings, comforting the afflicted, praying for our communities, and fostering connections with those we serve. Grant us the wisdom to honor the enduring narrative of faith between you and us. Together, let us cultivate a faith marked by constant dialogue with you, our hearts attuned to the divine workings of this sacred realm. In our solemn prayer, we beseech for solace and healing for the souls ensnared by tragedies and illnesses. May those who have departed this world find eternal peace and absolution with the embrace of your boundless love, tender warmth, and virtue. Especially, we turn our hearts towards those embroiled in the throes of natural calamities sweeping across the vast expanse of the United States. Tornadoes, floods, relentless winds, may they find refuge in your grace. For the survivors and their relatives of those departed or afflicted, we implore your compassionate intervention during their hours of anguish and tribulation. Grant them the strength to navigate the labyrinth of grief, the fortitude to seek forgiveness, and the resilience to persevere in the face of adversity. May they not falter in their belief in love, even in the midst of the darkest of times. In reverent repetition, we offer the supplications for the alleviation of sufferings and the restoration of hope. May your benevolence shine forth, illuminating the path towards healing and renewal for all who seek solace in your sacred presence. We implore of you to please use each of us to make an impact, big or small, on our communities, cities, counties, and countries. Guide us in our hearts and our actions to be embracing, loving, kind, and generous. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Sadly, in this world, wars rage on, tearing apart families and communities. Parents mourn the loss of their children, while children grieve for their parents. Civilians and soldiers alike fall victim to senseless violence. Nations and factions wreak havoc on innocent lives, causing emotional and economic ripples that extend across the globe. Demonstrations echo across college campuses in the United States and beyond. As one Ohana, united in prayer, we beseech an end to this strife. May both sides find the grace to honor each other's sovereignty and to truly listen. Let us exude love where hatred once dwelled, offer forgiveness where injury has been inflicted, and build peace where discord reigns. Grant us the strength to console rather than seek consolation, the patience and faith to understand before being understood, and the power of your infinite heart of love rather than merely to be loved. Guide us, as St. Francis of Assisi once taught, to start by doing what is necessary, then what is possible, until we find ourselves accomplishing the impossible. We pray for the victims of tragedies, natural and human-made disasters to recuperate materially, physically, mentally, and spiritually. 湯川正親先生御取り次の御心を我ら信奉者愛ともに心新たに求めゆき誠の影をように表さん願いをもって玉溝や教会布教120年祭の御祭りを心を結び麗しく力を叶えて迎えんと今月今日祈り祭る。Dear Tenchi Kane no Kami-sama, please continue allowing the San Diego Church and the Ujiko to be loving, inclusive, and embracing of all people, regardless of age, skin color, ethnicity and nationality, sexual orientation, social, economic status, size, etc., as well as be wonderful examples of your unconditional love. Let the church continue to be filled with love and joy to help heal the hearts of those seeking to be saved. Fill the church, its minister, and Ujiko with laughter and harmony to help increase the joy in the lives and souls of those who have come into contact with the San Diego Church, its ministers, and Ujiko. Let it be known that the San Diego Church and the Chula Vista Kosha are safe places. We pray that the neighborhood, city, and county we are located, as well as those who practice this faith, live in to prosper, flourish and thrive. The people in Mitama to be saved, the Ujiko to be healthy, prosperous, and live in abundance. Keep them safe and at peace. And allow your gohire or glory to shine brightly. And people to encounter not just the church, but also the teachings of Konko Daijin and Toritsugi. Tenchi Kane Kami, please accept the offerings placed before you as simple tokens of our appreciation for the blessings bestowed on all of us daily. The grace that you wrap us in when we are sad, lonely, angry, or afraid. The favors and interventions that you grant us in our times of need and or selfishness. These offerings and the word thank you could never express or equal that which you have bestowed upon each of us. さらには、国の一党にありて、もろもろなき事どもに出会いし、すべての人々の上に、安心立ち行きの大御影こむらしめたまい、これの金光教三ネゴ教会、金光教北三ネゴカウンティ集会、金光教チュラビスタ校舎をはるかに、滅神祭りである人らが、今日の大御祭りの歓喜礼をあまねくこむり、各教会において使え祭る天地金の神五大祭を同じ願いのままにうらしく使え祭らしめたまえと申す。Finally, we offer prayers of appreciation for Reverend Michio Iwasaki, whose term as administrative leader of Konkokyo ended on May 9th, 2024. As you are aware, he and his cabinet led Konkokyo through challenging times, especially the COVID-19 pandemic. We pray for the new leadership under the cabinet of Reverend Michio Hashimoto to guide us through the aftermath of the pandemic, global economic chaos, wars affecting every country at various levels, and a world yearning for hope. His cabinet includes Reverend Shinichi Hashimoto, Kyoji Konko, Kazumasa Tsukamoto, and Kazuma Wada. Tenchi Kane Kami, I pray you'll be our eyes and watch us where we go and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. And let this be our prayer when we lose our way. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be saved. May ke aloha pumehana. Mahalo anue, our beloved Ikiami Konko Daiji, Tenchi Kane Kami. Now, please raise your heads. Offering of the Tamakushi by our guest speaker, Reverend Joanne Tolosa. Offering of the Tamakushi by our church elder, Miss Vivian Spees. Chido Tomoni Haide, 4 sincere claps along with Vivian, please. Prayer for Grace, page 3 of the prayer book supplement. Kami-sama, give me grace for this day, not for a lifetime, nor next year, next month, next week, or tomorrow. Yes, give me grace just for this day. Direct my work and bless it, and advise me in the things I say and give them blessings too. Direct and bless everything that I think, do, and speak, that for this one day I have the gift of grace that comes from your presence. Kami-sama, just this one day, let me live generously and kindly in a state of grace and goodness that makes me a little bit like you. Please open your prayer books to page 29 for Shin Tokusanji. 아오기 마츠레바 텐다카쿠 아오기 마츠레바 텐다카쿠 오로가미 마츠레바 지와 아츠시 카미노 메구미니 이카사르르미노 사이와 이소와리가타키 와가이키가미노 원取り次ぎ、ひとひもかくるときのなくてん、地の神の恩守り、遠き近きの隔てなしかん、慈しみはよろずよにやまねく道で、果てしなくかんはからいは、くすしくて人の思いぞを呼ばざる我ら今月今日やび祭りてひたすらに神の御影をたたえ祭らん神の比例をはおぎ祭らんChido Haide, 4 sincere claps. At this time, I'd like to ask for about 5 minutes as we prepare for the third year memorial for Mrs. Kimio Spies. 指導拝礼 for sincere claps. "これのご霊前にお静まりくださいます。金光教三礼後教会初代、川のりかずしの御霊の神。ことは来て、これの霊章を祝い祭る、スピースケ、コスカケ、ハレアケ、キスケ、ツノケのトーツ、親の親たち。お経のスピース、君を見光り道の幸運の御霊の神の三年祭をお呼び出し申し上げて祭ります。今日のスピース、君を見光り道の幸運の御霊の神の三年使い使い祭らんと、熱い踏み牛の御霊の神、ゆかわやすたる牛の牛道分けま柱牛の御霊の神、ゆかわしげる牛の御霊の神、かわせいち牛の御霊の神、かわやすお牛の御霊の神、ゆかわのりかず牛の御霊の神、高橋春子姫の御霊の神をの恩徳をすがり申し上げ立て祭ります。Please open your prayer books to page 12 for Mitama prayer. Spirits of those who have gone before us, you were given the gift of life, this vast and endless universe. You discharge your duties faithfully, each according to your span of years. You will be remembered eternally, your lives retold from generation to generation, honored as the foundation of our society and the roots of our families. Through the mysterious workings of Kami, you entered the Kongo faith. You walked the way of Kongo Daijin, respecting the will of the divine parent. You amassed great merit through your faith. Take into the world beyond and leave to your descendants. Our gratitude is boundless for your loving favors. We revere you as the ancestral spirits of our homes, our own divine spirits. Beseech you, stand by us each and every one. Receive the favor of Kami and help us to fulfill our tasks as people without failing. Protect us, guide us, enrich us, that we may never lose the way of faith, that we hand it down to all generations, that we may live in peace and prosperity within our homes. Protect us, guide us, enrich us. Okay, please bow your heads in prayer. Dear Mrs. Kimio Spies, Mihikari Michino ko Ouna no Mitama no Kami. On the solemn Sunday, May 12, 2024, we convene within the hallowed halls of the Kyoha Shinto, Honko Church of San Diego, not merely to commemorate and reminisce about you, but also to express our boundless affection and gratitude for your being. On that fateful day, May 26, 2021, you were summoned back to the embrace of the universe, having grappled valiantly with a myriad of health afflictions. The news of your departure sent shockwaves through our hearts. To those acquainted with your essence, you are a paragon of grace and benevolence, integrity and mindfulness. Your embrace was warm, welcoming all who crossed your threshold. The Reverend Roderick Hashimoto shared, quote, I am grateful. Kimio always listened with an open heart. Kimio always knew when I was tired or hungry. I would often say, oh, I'm not tired. And a few minutes later, she would bring me a blanket. And when I said I'm not hungry, a few minutes later, she would bring me a snack and she would tell Dick to bring Sensei a beer. I should be serving them, end quote. The Konko Church of San Diego stands today as a testament to the boundless generosity and unwavering faith of you and your beloved husband, Dick Spies. Your legacy remains etched in the hearts of every member, a beacon of hope and resilience. Kimio-san, recall the days when the church faced imminent closure, a victim of unjust actions by a misguided associate minister. In the face of adversity, both you and your husband's steadfast determination and unwavering resolve emerged as guiding lights, leading us through the darkest of times. Together, you embraced the challenge, refusing to yield to despair. It was through both of your tireless efforts and unwavering commitment that the church was rescued from the brink of oblivion. Your selfishness, your selflessness and dedication breathed new life into our beloved sanctuary, ensuring its continued existence for generations to come. I believe Reverend Joanne Tolosa perfectly stated, Mrs. Spies always a very warm, welcoming, generous, and gracious person. I always admired her true, deep faith in the divine parent, Kami, to convert her dance studio into a hiromai, and opened her home to believers and anyone interested in the Konko faith. End quote. And thus, Reverend Takahashi aptly gave you the posthumous name of Mihikari Michino ko Ouna, or the light of dance and phoenix of the faith. Sensei also insisted and properly named you and your husband San Diego Fyoko Rosha, or one who has been of distinguished service to the faith. Through Nihon Buyo, and intending to the hiromai within these walls, you embodied your faith. Yet, in this solemn moment, we must extend our deepest apologies to both you and Dick. There are times that we overlook the blessings bestowed upon us when the two of you graciously welcomed the church and its congregation into your abode. We fail to recognize that this hallowed ground where we gather to worship, albeit temporarily, is none other than the Konko Church of San Diego. Regrettably, our neglect has allowed this sanctified space to wane over time, and thus we humbly offer our sincerest apologies to you both for our lapse in maintaining Kami's home and the precious gift of our spiritual sanctuary, our refuge. With earnest prayer, we beseech your guidance alongside the revered memory of the late Reverend Norikazu Yukawa and the departed souls of members. May we ascend like the phoenix, buoyed by this faith, a beacon to be shared. Through Kami's grace, may the hearts of those living in San Diego and Mexico find solace as we journey towards a new abode, awaiting us in the embrace of destiny. We know that you and Dick, as Tolosa Sensei aptly puts it, quote, shared a deep love and affection for their daughter Vivian, end quote. We ask that along with Dick, please continue watching over Vivian. Guide her to turn her heart to Kami and help her in moments of sadness, frustration, and anger. Counsel her to receive mediation, and awaken within her heart the knowledge that she has been gifted opportunities others do not have. Kimio-san, she is overwhelmed. She is tired. Take her hand and help her to find the help she needs to be positive, healing her heart, and live an active, healthy, and industrious life. Please continue watching over the believers here in San Diego and Mexico, as well as Bando Hidesomi Sensei. Help all of them when they call out to you. Tolosa Sensei noted, besides sharing the same faith, Konko faith, we also shared the same shoe size. Since she stopped dancing, she gave me all her pairs of tabi that I wear with my ceremonial clothes and think of her fondly, end quote. Thus, please be there when Tolosa Sensei for every service that she wears the tabis you gave her. There is no doubt that each member of the San Diego Church, as well as every person who has ever met you, has been a beneficiary of your love and kindness. And for that, we thank you. During the 2019 San Diego conference, Ms. Jennifer Tashiro stated, quote, I think that Mrs. Spies is an ikigami because she gives without expecting anything in return. The San Diego Church is an example of that generosity. She just gives from the heart, end quote. Although it is not much, we ask that you please enjoy the offerings placed before you. Accept each flower offered as a symbol of our love and appreciation for you. Watch over your family and friends. Finally, please continue to shower us with your love. As we gather today to honor your memory, we are reminded of the profound impact you have had on our lives and our community. Your spirit lives on in every prayer uttered within these sacred walls, a testament to your enduring legacy of love and devotion. Though you may no longer walk among us, your presence lingers in every corner of this hallowed space. We are forever grateful for the indelible mark you have left on our hearts. We pledge to carry your torch of faith and compassion forward evermore. We beseech you, dear Mrs. Kimio Spies, to no longer rest in solitude. Instead, grace us with your presence and faith. Accompany us in laughter. Stand with us in tears. Partake in the joy of the Naorai alongside us. And be assured your legacy shall persist, a beacon of inspiration and solace, guiding us daily. You shall always be remembered now and forever. Me ke aloha pumehana. Mahalo. Now, please raise your heads. this time we'll have the offering of the flowers. So if we start, can we start off with Miss Vivian Spies? You're getting stronger. Please open your prayer books to page 14 for the ancestral prayer. Dear Mitama spirits, everlasting and integral part of the divine parent of the universe, we pray that the Mitama of our ancestors and family, as well as the Mitama of all people, are at eternal peace and happiness. To you who have gone before us, we give thanks wholeheartedly for paving the way through hardships and self-sacrifice, in order that we, who are here today, can receive all the benefits of your endeavors. To you, our ancestral spirits, we gratefully acknowledge the protection and guidance which you have bestowed upon us. We pray that you continue to protect and guide us throughout our daily lives. We pray that we realize and develop your divine virtue this and every day. Shido Haire, 4 sincere claps. 一度入れ for sincere clap. Please open your prayer books to page 6, the recitation of the Tenchi Kane. ひがみ金光大臣天地金の神一心に願え。生き神金光大臣天地金の神一心に願え。おかげは我が心にあり。おかげは我が心にあり。今月今日で頼め。今月今日で頼め。Pray sincerely with all your heart. Be one with Kami. Kami's blessings begin within. Hearts grateful and caring, harmony and joy. Look to Kami always, now and forever. On this very day, pray. Oración de Tenchi Kane, page 6 of the prayer book supplement. A través de Ikigami Konko Daijin, Oria Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. A través de Ikigami Konko Daijin, Oria Tenchi Kane no Kami, con todo el corazón. Gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. La gracia divina depende del corazón de cada uno. Ore ahora en este momento. Ore ahora en este momento. Chido haire 4 sincere claps. Thank you very much for joining us for today's Tenchi Kane no Kami grand ceremony and in honoring Mrs. Spees. Was such an amazing person. I just felt bad. I only knew her for just a few years of her life, but still she was such one of the kindest people ever. And to open her heart and open her home to our church that we wouldn't die out or we would have someplace to go to, I think is just something so beautiful. Not many people have such a gift. She reminds me of Mr. Rintaro Inoue. Most of you have no clue who Rintaro Inoue is, and that's fine. Rintaro Inoue was actually the person who opened his home in Hawaii for Reverend Masayuki Kodama to come, and he gave him the entire, if I'm correct, it was a second floor? Well, first of all, I can't remember. He gave him the entire floor for them to use so that he can share the teachings of Konkokyo with other people. And that's a man who just incredibly received okage after okage, realizing, what he had done, realizing him and his wife having received such a gift. He didn't see it as a burden, he saw it as a gift. And so I really feel that's how Kimio, Mrs. Spees, as well as Dick. I have to call him Dick. It's so hard to call him Dick. I'm so used to calling him Mr. Spees. Even on my own, I call him Mr. Spees, but I don't want him yelling at me in my dreams and saying, "Call me Dick." So, Dick, I felt that's how they felt about having the church here, and so without them, I would not be here. Sensei would not be here. We would have nothing here in San Diego except for the North County San Diego gathering. That's all that would be in existence here in San Diego. So I'm so honored, to be here. I'm so honored to be allowed to do her 3rd year memorial service. And so thank you, Mrs. Spees, so much. So I know why you're all here. You're not here to hear me talk. You weren't here for today's service. I don't know, maybe some of you are here for today's service, but you all came to listen to our wonderful, wonderful speakers today. So we're going to start off with English first, with the Reverend Joanne Pelosa. Wait now. I'm going to date myself, so I don't want to date myself. So I've known her, let's say, for 10 years, because I'm only 36. Why are you giving me that look? Jennifer's giving me a weird look. But anyway, I've known her only for 10 years. I'm 36 at this moment. And I've known her ever since she saw me on my journey to becoming a minister. I also remember sending her letters. And I think I forgot when you gave them back. She gave me all my letters back to me. I want you to read and reflect on your journey again as a minute. And oh, she did. She doesn't remember doing that, but she did. Um, furthermore, she's, in her own journey, I got to witness, um, because we weren't just friends, we were also ministers in kind, and to see her journey go from an associate minister and then transfer to another church in Japan and then come back and seeing just that journey that she's been on that led her to becoming the head minister of the Konko Church of San Francisco has been such a wonderful honor. And to call her not just a friend, but also a friend in faith. That's something that I will always and truly cherish. Because there are times I go, I need help. Here you go, da, 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 da. And I'll shoot out an email to both her and Rod Sensei. I don't know what to do. Da, 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 what do I do? Boom. So to call her friend in faith, I think is when it's, or in Japanese we would use the kanji for oshiru, kyoyu, a friend of faith. In faith, I think is just so truly beautiful, and I'm really just so honored that she accepted our invitation to be here today. So I don't want to take off any more time. I want you to please open your hearts, open your minds, drink that glass of water figuratively so that you have an empty cup ready to absorb her mana'o, her faith, and what she has to share with all of us. So without any further ado, I present our wonderful English guest speaker, Reverend Joanne Tolosa. You're going to need this because
This way, good. Can you hear me? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Todd Sensei, for such a wonderful introduction. And your warm words, it matches this warm, cozy worship hall here in San Diego. So I'm so happy to be allowed to be the first minister as a guest since COVID to come in person. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So I want to congratulate you all at this Tenchi Kane Spring Grand Ceremony, and also Happy Mother's Day to everyone, because not just mothers, but it takes children to have a mother. So congratulations to everyone on this Mother's Day. And it's so fitting that it's also the third spiritual birthday celebration for Mrs. Kimioski's. And Todd Sensei says so much about her. I don't need to repeat how wonderful of a person she was. And thank you so much to Vivian for allowing us to continue serving at the worship hall and having this here in your home. Thank you so much, Vivian. So the title of my sermon this morning is Divine Arrangements, Where Are You? Divine Arrangements, Where Are You? Okay. But as followers of the Konko faith, we know and we are aware that we are receiving Divine Parent Kami's blessings 24/7. We know that we're allowed to live. We don't just live, but we're allowed to live because of the Divine Parent's blessings that we receive. The air, the water, food, clothing, shelter, and everything else we receive. We are allowed to live because of the Divine Parent's blessings. We could just take a look at here and see all the abundance that helps to sustain our life. And when we have times of need, those of us with faith, we often look to the Divine Parent Kami for our needs to be met, for our hopes and desires to be met. But what about Divine Parent Kami's wishes? Do we know what Divine Parent Kami's wishes are? Our founder taught us that we are here to help each other. We are all children of the Divine Parent. We all belong, and we are all receiving, every one of us, Divine Parent Kami's unconditional love. So for us, I think it's easy to recognize Kami's blessings and divine arrangements when we put out to Kami-sama requests and wishes that we want to come true. But how easy is it for us to readily recognize the divine arrangements of divine parent Kami for us. That Kami-sama sets up these divine arrangements to happen, to be carried out, and we do our part. And Kami wants to use us to help Kami in order for Kami's wishes to be fulfilled. Do you ever hear people say, "Oh, that was a coincidence," right? That was a coincidence, you know. But here in the Konko faith, we know it's not coincidence. There are no coincidences. We have that teaching. They are all like divine arrangements in our lives. Our founder, he always looked to Divine Parent Kami to grasp a bigger picture of a situation with Kami-sama centered eyes versus people-centered or human-centered eyes or perceptions. I believe that the more we have faith in Divine Parent Kami, the more we can see occurrences or situations as divine arrangements in hindsight as well as in real time. So I'd like to share something that happened to me earlier this year. I was at the Japanese cemetery, which I normally do monthly, to offer tamakushi flowers to the former head minister of the Konko Church of San Francisco, our founding minister, Reverend Yoshiaki Fukuda, second head minister, Reverend Shinko Fukuda, and also Reverend Matsui. And my mom is there now from 2 years ago. So I visit my mom there. I have her ashes at my house too. So anyway, I go to the cemetery once a month. And normally there might be a scattering of people there visiting their own loved ones. But this Thursday afternoon, it was, not much wind that day, pretty calm. Besides myself, there was another woman and her dog at the cemetery. And I happened to know this woman. So after she was done praying at her husband's gravesite, she came towards me, and I was just finishing up praying and offering tamakushi to Reverend Fukuda at his monument. So if you have never been to the Koma Cemetery, we have a monument for Reverend Fukuda and Shinko Sensei, and then around it, there's a big square area that has posts, like metal posts and chain link fence around it, and a big table so we could put offerings on it. And so I was on the front left side corner of it when this lady came, and then so she was about to greet me, but I saw the look in her eyes, and she looked like she was gonna collapse or faint. And she was right near the corner of that post. So I shielded her from it, and then she fell towards me, forward towards me on the ground. And so there's a step up on the monument area that it's granite and it's jagged. And it was a blessing that when she fell forward, when I shielded her, she just fell to the side of it and didn't hit it. And then, so she lost consciousness, and then I was trying to wake her up. And then after several seconds, she was able to wake up. And I was able to convince her to go with me back to San Francisco, which is like a 20-minute drive, leave her car there and go with me so that she could get checked out. And so she was conscious of her name and where she was at. And to make a long story short, after she went to the urgent care, it was just a matter of being dehydrated. She was in her 80s. It wasn't anything real serious, but she hadn't, I guess, drank all day, and she was out. So whenever she sees me now, she always says, "Oh, you are my angel," So, I mean, to have that situation happen where it's just the two of us in the cemetery, right in front of Reverend Fukuda's, monument, and right after she prayed to her husband, I don't see that as a coincidence. I really feel that that was a divine arrangement, and I was grateful to be there to help her. So looking back on this, I really saw it as a divine arrangement. And then working on this sermon, I realized that it led me think about situations that, the divine parent, the divine parent may have wanted us to help the divine parent in divine arrangements, but maybe we weren't paying attention. Or so what if I could have like gone walking away or something, right? But what if we weren't paying attention, and what if our heart wasn't aligned with divine parent Kami, and the situations became a missed opportunity? So then I got to thinking, that must be happening a lot around the world. There's so many missed opportunities happening because all over the world, whereby we may not be aligned with Kami-sama's heart or each other's heart. And I think we can easily see this in the misalignment with all of the conflicts, wars, and injustices going throughout the world today, which Todd Sensei mentioned in his Saishi of all the things, the wars, famine, everything that's happening, these things that are not in line with Kami-sama, resulting in that misalignment. So I can only imagine how sad Divine Parent Kami is, or may be, with all these arrangements not being followed through and not being carried out. So I believe that we all need to do a better job at recognizing these opportunities that we have. And so how can we do this? I believe we each need to have a sincere heart and be free of negative emotions. Let those negative emotions go out, so that, like Todd Sensei said, have an empty cup so we can be open to anything that's coming, and to be able to pay attention with that open mind. And again, Todd Sensei was mentioning and talking about, hearing and listening. So to see, hear, listen to each other more carefully. So, this sermon is really in line with your Saishi. And receive clarification so that we can truly understand the other person and what the other person is saying. So I'd like to share a personal example about that, in terms of what the hardest thing might be, is that when we think we're understanding the person, or assuming that we understand them, so we think we're right, or we think we believe that we know what the truth is. But I wanted to share an example of, in my case with Evan. So Evan's father and I had divorced some years back. So we were co-parenting Evan, but until 9 years ago, from 9 years ago, I became the sole parent of Evan, parenting him. And but anytime I mentioned to Evan about family, we're a family, and he'd scoff at me, go, family, and I'm like, yeah, we're a family. And he goes, he says he belongs to the Grange family, which is his father's last name. And I go, I gave birth to you. You are definitely part of my family, the Tolosa family, because I gave birth to you. And then he still scoffed and walked away. And like, so I had to think about how Kami-sama can I be allowed to have Evan think that we are family? And then Evan has Down syndrome. And so as a former social worker, I know with Down syndrome, they're concrete thinkers. And so then I was allowed to realize, it's because Grange is his last name. He thinks he's just part of the Grange family, And so I said to Evan, I didn't know what he was going to say. I said, Evan, do you want to change your name to Tolosa? And he said, yes. And I was so surprised. And so I'd ask him over a period of days. I kept asking him just to make sure, because I don't want to start this process and then he changes his mind, right? So I'd say, okay, you sure you want to be a Tolosa? And he's like, yes. So I put in the application for his formal name change with the County Superior Court. It was granted. And so he is a Tolosa now. Yay! So then I'd say to Evan, whenever we get a new card, his California ID, his other Social Security card, and it come in the mail, I go, Evan, look, it says Evan Tolosa. And he goes, that's me. So he was very proud. He is still very proud of being a Tolosa. But, you know, for the longest time, I didn't understand to know what his needs were when he said family. You know, I didn't know. And in his case, it was that concrete last name being Grange on everything that needed to change. So, in fact, you know, how well do we understand other people, or we think we understand other people? And then going forward, more so, how well do we think we understand or feel we understand what Kami's wishes and messages are, or recognize divine arrangements, or the opportunities that Kami-sama sets up for us that can become divine arrangements? So I'd like to share an example of Saki Aoi, or Aoi Saki, as you will see in the Gorikai, the first book of teachings that are a collection of teachings that were written down. And Saki's teaching is actually the first one in the book. So I give this example because so divine arrangements may not always look like something fully positive, you know. So we might, you know, it at first it might look like that's a negative thing, but turns out to be a positive thing. So this is an example of that. So in Saki's case, she was disturbed about her husband's wasteful spending. The founder told her to be single-hearted and everything would be fine. That she would be receiving divine blessings, or divine arrangements, I mean, and that does anyone remember this story? And do you know what the divine arrangement was? Hard to remember. Yeah. Okay. So then Saki said, soon my husband got into trouble, which forced him to leave us. And she says, I thought that this must be a divine arrangement, that he was forced to leave. So she goes, so I was delighted. Thinking that it was time, I divorced my husband, hoping that I could depend on my son in the future. I was 24 years old, unquote. So my question to you is, would Saki have recognized her husband's leaving or being forced to leave as a divine favor if the founder didn't tell her to be single-hearted, if the founder didn't assure her that everything would be all right, and the founder didn't tell her to look out for a divine arrangement? I wonder, would she have taken that opportunity to divorce him? So Saki trusted the founder and the divine parent Kami, and with that trust and being single-hearted, she took the leap of faith to divorce her husband and hope for a better future with her son. So today at this spring grand ceremony, to honor Tenchi Kane Kami, our divine parent, we have the perfect opportunity to strengthen our connections, our relationships with Kami-sama going forward. And I hope that on this Tenchi Kane Kami day, and I hope that we can stay more Kami-centered and aligned with divine parent Kami, and pay more attention to situations and how we can pay more attention to what could be divine arrangements made by Kami-sama, how Kami-sama wants us to help Kami-sama and not miss these opportunities. So like Saki, let's realize, grasp, and act on divine arrangements coming our way. And I just want to say that I'm not saying divorce is for everybody. I'm just saying in her situation. And in fact, I so admire families who have long-standing relationships with each other and stay married. So I really tip my hat to people who stay married and work things out, because that's one of the biggest challenges and of the Konko faith, of our test of faith, is human relationships, getting along with each other. So anyway, so Vivian, how long were your parents married? It was definitely over 50 years, right? Yeah. So I mean, that's so admirable. that people try to work things out. So I think that is the priority. But if one side is not going to work with the other side, then that's an option. So anyway, thank you for this opportunity. And yeah, please think about this divine arrangement. Thank you. Oh, oh, okay.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, thank you very much, Joanne Sensei. Aoi Saki. I'm sorry. Oh, I switched with
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
This
I
thing
had
is so wonderful. Thank you very much, Joanne Sensei. Aoi Saki story is one of my favorites. And one of the biggest reason why she ended up getting also reason why she needed to get that divorce was she was physically, emotionally, verbally abused, as well as her own parents were physically abused by her ex-husband. But the story ends really well. So if you came to the Southern California regional conference, you find out that, oh my gosh, the story ends amazingly well. The very end with her husband saying sorry to a grave every single day. But that's a whole nother story for another time. So without our next speaker, is a Japanese speaker, and one of the things I've noticed is for some reason our Japanese people will watch our Japanese speakers. I don't know why. I'm just grateful they do. But our guest speaker is Reverend Kenji Konko. Reverend Konko Sensei is the President Konko-sama's cousin, like first cousins. First cousins, because his father and the fifth Konko-sama are siblings. They're first cousins. Um, I How did this happen? So I don't know how I met Kenji Sensei, but um, I knew Kenshi Sensei, and I didn't know, and I've always known Kenshi Sensei for a long time. And then one day I was at headquarters for actually this is in 2019, and Kenji Sensei and I had become Facebook friends, and he clicks on like on my stuff, I click like on his stuff. We've never talked before until one day I was at headquarters and he walks up to me, and he's right at present, he's the assistant director of the Konko Library. And he said, "Oh, Todd Sensei, like, oh, I don't know who you." And he introduced himself to me. Since then, we would send messages to each other from time to time, especially when I would send what is that called, coffee from Hawaii to his home, because his father likes a very specific type of coffee they no longer make, unfortunately. And he goes, "Oh, Ta Sensei, the coffee arrived. Oh, Ta Sensei, the coffee arrived." And unfortunately, they don't make this coffee anymore. But he's been such a really nice person. And I thought, what a wonderful way to just kind of end today with hearing what he has. And it's interesting that your sermon was about divine arrangements, because this is a little similar to that as well. I can't, Kami-sama, you better stop it. You just got to stop what you're doing. All right. No, maybe not stop, but just you're freaking me out a little bit today. So without any further ado, I'm going to disappear and Jennifer will put Kenji Sensei's sermon up for all of us to watch. And by the way, he's as young as I am. He's 36. We're born the same year. We're both 36. Don't laugh. Hi there. Thank you again for attending today's Tenchi Kane no Kami Grand Ceremony, as well as Mrs. Spee's third year memorial service. For both speakers, I'm going to be cutting them. I'm going to take this down and cut it, and so that they have their individual videos that I'll have online for all of you to watch. And I'll make sure that I raise Kenji Sensei's volume. There's a way to raise their volume. So, but thank you very much for attending. Please fill out, if you haven't done so, please fill out the form, the Google form, so I can know who attended today. But with that, please enjoy your day. Enjoy your American Mother's Day, because Japanese Mother's Day was last week. And we'll see you. When will I see you? Next month. Oh, actually, if this Wednesday for the Chila Vista Kosha's monthly ceremony. So see ya. You all want to say bye?